What's up, friends? My name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti, and I'm putting a sock on. Now that I've put that left sock on, it's Monday night Q&A. Castle Crash Prep Part 1. Part 2 is going to be on Wednesday. Hold on. Let me do the thing in the place here. Ready? It's going to look way cooler in 1 second. Here we go. It's going to look so much cooler. I can barely tell. There we go. That's a little bit better. Yeah, I'm going to be going through a bunch of stuff and just checking it over. We're going to talk about certain builds, what they do well, what they don't do well. Fly a couple of batteries here. It's a 6-battery live stream. I've got 2 that are charged from yesterday. Let me actually throw them back on the charger just to top them up. And then I'll put 4 more on. All the old batteries again today. I just want to keep beating on these old batteries and try to save the fresh batteries that Weebleed very kindly sent me for like testing and stuff. Things. Save your good batteries for important things, he says. If you like these live streams and would like to see them continue, I need your help. Head on over to CiottiFPV.com and just start clicking stuff. And then when it asks you to pay, just don't even look. Just click, 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 click. Click the buttons that are in the top right corner. Click the green buttons. Those are the good ones. Just blindly, just keep going. Just keep clicking. There's a bunch of affiliate links. Just go there. Just a bunch of products. Just add to cart, add to cart, add to, don't even look. Just add to cart, add to cart, add to cart. Buy, 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 buy. That's how you do it. Join my Patreon. That'll help me out the most. And yeah, we'll keep hanging out together forever. Not forever, but for as long as I possibly can. Hold up. Let me get this going here. I 3D printed a Chiikawa today for a little boo. What a time to be alive. In the chat, Brian Kirk was first. Doubles FPV, Fizz PV, Yukon FPV, Frosty, Siskel, Scotty Scott, Stick Flick, Uriel, Whoop Fox, Sleepy CBR, Kazuma. What's up, everybody? If you want to talk directly to me, type CiottiFPV into your chat message, and I will read it. Just like Fizz PV did. He said, hello, all. Best Monday I've had in a while. Spent the day taking care of my elderly parents and mailbag from CiottiFPV. Awesome. Love it, man. Scotty Scott says, what's up, gangly gangers? Who's going to Castle Crash? That's a good question, brother. Who's going? Type Castle Crash into the chat if you're going to be at Castle Crash. Or, if you're not watching this live, put a comment that says Castle Crash if you're going. And I'll see you there. I'm going up on Thursday to help get stuff set up. The Whoop Hall is my main sort of responsibility. And so, yeah, we're going to get that set up really cool. A long time ago, Weebleed sent me these gold, silver, and bronze medals. And they've just been sitting in the box here. I'm bringing them with me. And when there's a whole bunch of people in the Whoop Hall, I don't know when it's going to be, I'm going to do a Tiny Whoop freestyle competition. Block out like... I don't know if I'll block out like an hour, or if I'll just be like, yo, whoever wants to be in the competition, come over here. And then, yeah. And it'll be like one battery per person, totally informal, totally whatever. I'll be the only judge, and I'll pick whoever I like the best, regardless of how well they fly. Sleepy CBR says, what's up, CiottiFPV and Gangly Gang? Uriel says, nice shirt. This is a shirt that they gave me at Tulsa Tough before I was leaving, because they had a whole bunch of them. These are the shirts that, like, all the on-air talent was wearing, and I think they ordered, like, way too many, so they gave a whole bunch of them to us. It's this really kind of thin see-through material. It's a really nice shirt. And it's just been sitting in my closet, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna wear that goddamn shirt. What do you think of that, world? Yukon FPV says, I got to fly inside a smoke shop today. Oh, nice. Denzel Terrible says, hey, what's a Chiikawa? Chiikawa is a Asian thing. It's a comic show. It's a thing. ChiIkawa. You won't be interested. It's for kids. Siskel says, Castle Crash Thursday. Kevin Sumner says, Bob Noxious says, what's up? He's sitting on the couch next to me. What's up, you fuckers? Kevin, are we going to do the Tiny Whoop freestyle competition any more official, or should I just do it at random? Do you want to, is there like a time bracket that makes sense? If not, like, I'm just going to seriously, like, do it totally informally. Just wait until there's, like, the most people there, maybe Saturday night, and just be like, yo, who wants to fly a battery and try to impress me? But if you want to do it a little bit more formally than that and, like, put a time on it, that's totally cool. But let me know. Saturday night after Big Nasty freestyle contest, probably 8 p.m. or later. That's absolutely perfect. That's like pretty much exactly when I was thinking of doing it. So that's great. Yeah, love it. Saturday night after 8 p.m. There it is. Whoop fuck. That's how I like to plan shit. live and on the internet. Whoop Fox says, you know of anything like Castle Crash by Minnesota? I don't, to be honest, man. I don't really keep track of FPV events. I'm not a great guy to ask. Do I have a text channel on my Discord for events? I do. And you don't have to be a patron to get at it. It's one of the text channels that's open to anybody. It's called events-info over on my Discord, CiottiFPV.com, and then there's a link to my Discord. You can join it, and then yeah, events-info. Denzel the Terrible says you could have the CiottiFPV Trippy Spin contest. Yeah, so my freestyle contest is a big part of the judging is going to be who does the least trippy spins. If you do trippy spins in your judged battery, you will not win. Fair warning. I'm going to judge it like me. I'm not going to judge it like other people. I'm the judge. And so you guys see how I fly. You see the stuff that I think looks good. That's the judging. I'm judging what looks good. Trippy spins look like ass. And so if you do them, it's as if you're doing nothing. I'm not gonna take points away. Probably not gonna give points anyway. I'm just gonna keep a mental tally of who impresses me the most. But yeah, you come out and you do a bunch of trippy spins, and you might as well just have been flying straight and flat, because that's what trippy spins do for me. Although actually I would rather you fly straight and flat, because then I can at least see what you're doing, and it can be like, oh look, you're taking a second to like chill, and that's important. Doubles FPV says you got to let your hatred of the trippy spin, I guess, go. Some people enjoy doing them. That's okay. You can do all the trippy spins you want, but if you enter a freestyle competition that I'm judging, you ain't getting any points for them. All right. Oh, look at that. Captain C posting a picture of his new favorite park flyer on top of the gangly fan in the general nonsense channel on my Discord. That's pretty cool. What frame is that? Arms look like a micro apex. 3-inch little tiny apex. I can barely tell what frame that is. What frame is this? Who can tell? The ends of the arms. Oh, maybe not. What the hell frame is that? Oh, it's a solid base plate. Yeah, it's definitely not a micro apex. Yeah, I don't know what frame that is. That's interesting. Somebody will know. Is that one of those sub 250 frames? One of them there sub 250 frames? Baby Turtle V2. It is indeed. There we go. Benny Bravo says, any ideas what to check? Brand new props and motors. Oh, I missed the previous comment. New build using the Air 4-in-1 for a 75mm. Every time I arm, it flips over. Got that sorted. Now it flies away when I arm and give throttle. Have to disarm to stop it. Check your board orientation, right? Make sure when you make sure when it's plugged into Betaflight and you go like this on the screen, on the Betaflight screen, it does that and that and that and that and that and that, right? So check the board orientation, and then check the motor assignments. Make sure motor 1, motor 2, motor 3, motor 4, and then check the motor rotation. Then you're gonna start looking for vibrations. Too much vibration. Look at the tune. Make sure the tune's not cranked all the way up. Look at your propellers. Make sure they're balanced, not bent up. Not one of these propellers that we know is out of balance, out of the bag. Check your motors. Make sure the motor shafts aren't bent. Check screws. Make sure there's no screws loose. And then look for the way that the flight controller is mounted in the frame. Make sure there's not like something pushing up against the flight controller in the frame. You need the flight controller to sit on those rubber grommets and be able to move a little bit. The frame is going to vibrate, but you want the flight controller to sit nice and stable. There's a bunch of stuff. Hopefully one of those gets it for you. Oh! Sorry for anybody wearing headphones, although you're now deceased, so I don't need to apologize. If you kill somebody, you don't have to apologize to them, you know? You just move on with your life as if it never happened. There's a little bit of a lull in the chat, so I'm going to fly a little bit. I've got some rigs that are ready to go. First thing up, we're going to fly this little guy. This is what we flew yesterday on the live stream. Nah, we don't really need to fly this. It's fine. I flew it yesterday on the live stream. This is the ultimate slow and steady and like super dialed in build. Cockroach 65 V3 frame, which has nice tall ducts on it. And then old school Mobula 6 canopy, which from the side profile, there's not a lot of air getting through this. I'm tempted. So, on the live stream yesterday, we took a look at and talked a lot about the aerodynamics of these things from like the side-on profile. We were also talking about from the front-on profile and from the rear, and so we basically talked about the aerodynamics coming in from the side of these builds. They're all pretty much the same when you're full throttle. When you're full throttle, you've got a couple supports that hold the motor on, and then you've got the ducts, and you've got the center section and whatnot. And most builds are not going to really be any different regardless of the frame and regardless of the canopy when air comes through them this way or when air comes through them that way, right? So full throttle or zero throttle, when there's no momentum, the arrow on all these guys is pretty much the same. But you only do that for a split second at a time. You're typically flying them like this, or like this, or like this, or like this. And so from all these orientations here, the height of the ducts makes a big difference, and the canopy makes a big difference. And that's what we were testing yesterday. And boy, was there a noticeable difference. We tested this build versus this one that's all torn apart now because I got frustrated when I was flying it and went full throttle into the wall and it exploded. But this one really blew me away. And I built this to be as drastic as possible. This is the frame with the tallest ducts, and then this is the canopy with the most sort of area, the least aerodynamic, let's say, canopy. And so, but I'm not going to build, all of my builds are not going to be like this. This is like an extreme case. I did that specifically so that I could hopefully feel and hopefully you guys could see the difference between a fairly aerodynamic build and a blocky sort of Cinewoop-ish build. And so I tend to not try to have like a build that's like way over here in terms of the way it flies and then another one that's way over here in the way that it flies. I try to build stuff towards the middle. This is not that right now. This is an extreme. It's the least aerodynamic kind of setup. And so I'm super tempted to actually take this out of this frame and put it into this light AF frame. And I'm going to do that. I am actually going to do that. Matter of fact, I'm going to put this camera AIO canopy antenna back where it was, which was a light AF frame, which I like because this camera and canopy are heavier. They're super durable, but they are heavier. So I'm going to put it into the light AF frame that it was in before, which has green motors, and this has a green rear LED thing. So yeah, I'm actually going to put this back real quick, and I can do that right sort of here. First I need to unplug these motors. So ask me some questions, friends. Talk about Castle Crash. Give me a couple of things to talk about while I quickly pull this thing apart and put it into a frame that has ducts that are not as tall, and a frame and the lightest weight frame that we've got. That's what the light AF really is. And it's got green motors which match the LED, which is super important because, you know, like me, if you're not going to fly good, you better look good. Cole Power says, should have told me I didn't have to apologize before I gave that squirrel a moment of silence and tossed him in the dumpster. Your dog mangled a squirrel? That's disgusting. The day that Teddy mangles a squirrel, his ass is gone. No, he has a good relationship with the squirrels in the yard. He He used to bark at him a lot. He actually doesn't bark at him anymore, but when we let him out, he chases him around. Every once in a while, he'll actually catch one, but then he just stops and he just looks at it. He's like, "Oh no, I didn't. I just want to. I just want to play with you like I play with my toys, buddy. I don't want to like chew your." Although he rips holes in his toys and then rips the guts out of them, so I guess I can't really say that, but. Yeah, he has caught up with them once or twice, and he just stops, and he's like, That's my impersonation of Teddy. Is it good? Stickflick FPV says, what's the best canopy in your opinion for the least amount of jello? None of the canopies really affect jello, to be honest. My favorite canopy is the one that I'm taking off right now, the old school Mobula 6. Mainly because it's so unbelievably durable. And it also holds the Runcam Nano 3, which I kind of like as a camera. But mainly it's the durability that really makes me love this old school Mobula 6 upside down ball sack canopy, as I call it sometimes, when I'm feeling saucy. So yeah, this one's my favorite, but there's only a couple different camera. Well, no, I guess there's a bunch of cameras that you can put in this because there's a couple of adapters on Thingiverse. So yeah, but by default, the only cameras that work in this are the Runcam Nano 3 and the FXT camera that comes with the Mobula 6 2024. And now the Runcam Nano 17 or something, 7 or 8 or 6 or... You'll see it. The cameras that work with this canopy without having to 3D print an adapter, they have holes in the corners. Oh, the Walk Snail light camera as well. But it's a dead giveaway. The cameras, if you're looking at this is the square board of the camera, they will have holes in the top right. If you're looking at the lens, they'll have holes in the top right and the bottom left corner. There aren't many cameras that do that, so it's pretty easy to find them. Josh says, any camera suggestions for outside / low light night whoop? It depends. Digital, analog, DJI, Walk Snail, 03, 04, HD0. Depends on the platform. All right, so this frame is going to get used with a camera and canopy setup that are very aerodynamic. So I'm going to keep this close by because I'm sure that I have one floating around, and we're going to be farting around with a bunch of different rigs tonight. I might like grab one off the shelf over there and be like, oh, this one's the perfect candidate for this. So, but this camera canopy setup can go right back in here where it was just one day ago. Which side of this frame has taken the most abuse? This side, obviously. So I'm going to now put that in the back. Whenever you pull a rig apart, spin the flight controller around, because your front ducts and your front motors take way more abuse than your rears. And so by rotating it around, you can beat up the other side of the frame and the other set of motors so that you hopefully wear them down equally. Just like rotating tires on your car. Bend this duct back to get the camera plug over here. This build has a 2G4 AIO in it. And it actually still has the ceramic tower antenna. That will almost certainly break off at Castle Crash. Which is fine. I bring damn near all the tiny whoops. And when one blows up, I just throw it in the box and grab another one. I don't bother really like fixing them there. I don't like fixing stuff like in the field. I find it to be super annoying. It's a great way to lose a bunch of hardware. You know, like all your tiny screws are going to drop into the rocks or the grass or the concrete or the black asphalt, and you're not going to be able to find them. And it's just kind of annoying. I would rather bring 2 or 3 rigs, and then when one lets go, you just throw it away. You just throw it in the back of the car and grab another one. All right, just like that. We are swapped over. I just need to plug these motors in, and we'll be all set. And then we're going to fly this thing to see if the motors are turning the right direction. And I can maybe even kind of sort of compare it to the to when I was flying it yesterday on the other frame, because it's relatively fresh in my mind. Yesterday, this thing flew in a very specific way. It was extremely slow and extremely controllable. It felt like a Cinewhoop, which was really, really cool. Yeah, yesterday's stream was super fun. So we had some great questions in the chat too, and I feel like I answered a couple questions really thoroughly. Yesterday was a good live stream. If you missed it, you should check it out. If you missed it, you should unmiss it. All right, motors are plugged in. Let's see if they want to spin the right direction. Josh says analog. My favorite camera meeting the requirements that you're talking about is the Foxeer Toothless Nano Starlight. Do they still sell that? Foxeer Toothless Nano Starlight. I like the nano version of it because it's like infinitely lightweight, but they also make it in a 19mm version, which is every bit as good. And yeah, looks like they still make it. $52. Nope, back ordered. AliExpress? Okay. Apparently not. Well, let's see if it's on Foxeer's website first and foremost to see if they discontinued it. All right, apparently not. That's great. Things are working well. Good to see it. You love to see it. Let me open up a bunch of tabs and see if any of them will actually, if any websites will actually load. Apparently the entire internet is down right now. That's interesting. FPV, race day quads. Oh my god, I'm going to the second page of Google. What a time to be alive. Pyrodrone loaded, but that's the only website. No, there goes Get FPV. There goes already. Okay, all the websites just loaded. Cool. RDQ, Foxeer Toothless Nano Starlight sold out. Get FPV sold out. Not looking good. Looks like you can still buy it from Foxeer. Yeah. Okay. So Foxeer is still making it, but you know, the fascist party has destroyed everything in this country, and so nothing's in stock anywhere because no businesses can afford to buy anything. And so there's that, which is a nightmare. So yeah, it looks like you might need to buy it directly from Foxeer. That's extra annoying. But, you know, thanks, Drumpf. Might be able to get it on AliExpress, possibly. At that point, you might as well just order it directly from Foxeer. Defiance RC looks like it's out of stock. To be honest, pretty much all analog cameras are staggeringly good in low light. That Starlight version of the Toothless Nano would be like... So, for example, that's the camera that I flew when I flew the fireworks a couple of years ago. And when I was flying that thing home, I was easily able to navigate from streetlights. But the ground was still black. And so to land, in order to land, it was kind of difficult. I had to find a cul-de-sac because I just couldn't see trees. So I could see these pools of lights from the street lights, but where I took off from, there were like some kind of trees around, and I couldn't see those trees at all. So what I did is I just followed the street lights to the cul-de-sac, which was a couple 100 feet away, and then just set it down in the middle of the cul-de-sac, which I was easily able to see because there were street lights running down the street. That's what you'll get from a Starlight camera. That camera also works during the daytime, which is awesome. You don't have to like switch back and forth. There's another level of night camera. They rate these things in lux. Most cameras are 0.01 lux sensitivity. The Foxeer Nano Starlight is 0.001. A proper night camera is going to be 0.0001 in the sensitivity spec. So that's how you can kind of figure it out. 0.01 is damn good. And that's what most cameras are. So, yeah, most analog cameras are better than you'd think in low light. But if you want to fly in full-blown darkness, yeah, you're going to look for something that's either called like Starlight or straight up like night camera or, you know, that kind of stuff. Matthew W. says, have you ever tried a night spotlight whoop build? My plan is to run UV LEDs off a Boosty Boy to get scorpion footage. They glow. Boosty Boy can be put on a transmitter switch. That's fun. I've thought about it. I've seen people who put little spotlights on quads, and on a tiny whoop, I think it makes sense because you can fly a tiny whoop really close to stuff. But like most of the LEDs, they don't throw enough light. So like if you're flying more than like 6 inches away from something, it's as if it's not even on. And then you get really close to something and all of a sudden it's like really bright. So yeah, doing what you're doing sounds super cool and makes sense. But yeah, I haven't done it before because it's never like blown me away. I even have one of these like relatively bright Cobb LED things that kind of fits. It would require a little bit of E6000, but it kind of fits perfectly in the hooks of the Cockroach 65 V3 frame. But yeah, I just haven't put it on anything quite yet. CiottiFPV says, I don't know how, but the rear of my Air 2 frame is way more beat up. I think from hitting stuff taking turns too wide. Yeah, mine too. There's something about the Air frame that it like takes all the energy and it pushes it into the back. That my Air 65 V1 frames, they all broke in the back, not in the front. So yeah, that's weird. I might have just flipped this frame the wrong way around. But this is a light AF frame, and I haven't noticed with the light AF frame that it with the Air frames, they tend to get really, really beat up in the insides of the ducts. I have not noticed that from any of the Newbie drone frames. It could be doing it, and I just haven't noticed it. But yeah, I would have probably picked up on that kind of thing. But yeah, you're right. I never really thought about that. The Air frames do show more abuse in the rear end. But I mean, dick and fart jokes hit differently when you're wearing a shirt that's this fancy. Yeah, it kind of makes sense, right? Like you crash here and the energy kind of like flows back. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't make sense. Maybe it makes sense. Let's fly a battery. Let's fly this thing with 36,000 kV motors and a bad attitude. No, with 36,000 kV motors and same props. I think. Let me see. These are clear HQ props. I just want to make sure that they're not the prototype props. No, they're not. They're 1.2 by 0.9 by 3. So same propellers as it was on yesterday. A little bit less KV, but a much more slippery frame. A frame that has a much narrower duct on it. Weirdly, I will be more used to this. I had a hard time adjusting to this rig yesterday in its maximum Swedish brick arrow configuration. We'll call it the Volvo 240 configuration, is what it was in yesterday. If those of you that aren't total lunatics, the Volvo 240 is the Volvo wagon that when I say Volvo wagon to you, you immediately picture. And so the motors are spinning in the wrong direction, which is just annoying as hell. Why is that? Oh my god, and one of them's making thrusts and the other ones aren't. What the hell? Whee! Whoa! Yo! Hold on. I didn't know these things could do that. Alright, ready? Which motor was that? Okay, hold on. Ah! Oh, it's never gonna do it again. Ah, damn it! Hold on, it's close. Ah, it was doing that little pirouette thing that it just did for a split second. Ah! It was so cool! Ah, damn it. Hold on, let's try to blip it. Nope! One more try, one more try. No! Alright, just one more try. Oh, there it was! See that? Never give up. Okay, let's fix this. What? Oh, I know what's going on. I've rewired this one motor with green, with green. TinyWhoop.com sells motor plugs in all different colors. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue. And I've got one of these motors. I've done that to one of these motors. I think I had a full set of these 36,000s that I beat the living hell out of. And then I swapped. 3 of them were in really bad shape, so I swapped them out. And in doing so, I pooped. I don't know. What's happening here? I haven't eaten anything. I ate something. I had a big ass bowl of ramen earlier, but I guess that was too long ago because my brain is being slow. Motor number 1 is spinning the correct direction. Motor number 2 is spinning the correct direction. Motor number 3, which is the one that I've got the green wires on, is spinning the wrong direction. Let's see if this will actually reverse it. It will not. I'm gonna have to go into the ESC configurator, and then yeah. So all the all the motors are correct except for the one that I have schnarfled the Garthog on. So we're gonna go to ESC configurator, and annoyingly, we're gonna reverse just motor number 3, which is just insane. This would explain why the motor directions were so weird in here for this thing yesterday on the live stream when I was like, this is weird. That's why. Hey, Kevin Sumner says Ready Made RC has the toothless... Oh, listed as discontinued. I guess Fox Zero has backstock. All right. There we go. Motor number 3, ESC number 3 rather. We're going to go to reversed, and we're going to write settings. And now we are good to go. Let's unplug, and let's go here, and we'll unplug the USB. Plug this guy back in. Teddy, of course, has come to protect me from the horrible, aggressive whoop drone. Tiny whoop drone. Transmitter coming on. It'll take a while to connect to the ELRS. Come on. There we go. Yep. It flies more normal. You know what's interesting though? It does feel, I think I can feel that the canopy is less aerodynamic. Like it feels more grippy than I've been flying a lot of builds. I missed it by like a millimeter. I've been flying a lot of builds with the CO3 camera in the G-string canopy, and this feels more grippy than that. Like when I do that, I can kind of tell. When I just kind of flat turn it around like that, yeah, that's pretty cool. Now it's funny now that I'm. Oh no, I don't want to stand up. Get it out of there. Come on, Teddy. Do something useful. For once in your life. All you do is eat shit and piss on the floors when new people come into the house. Help me out. Do something good. It's a standoff. Oh my god. I wish I could bring this little shit to Castle Crash with me. Everybody would die. Uh-oh. Another standoff. Look at him stomping that paw. Ah! Ah! Holy shit. I was kind of worried that I was going to hit him in the face, but I just went for it. You know, sometimes you... Oh, no! No! Get out of there. Yeah. Yeah, this feels way more normal. When I was flying this yesterday, it felt awkward. And that's just, you know, like... That's just from it being different. Like, it was drastically different. God damn, is that fun. Yeah, this... dare I say this feels more balanced? Like it has enough slide, but not too much. But, I mean, look, if you're having a hard time flying inside, and you want to try something that's, like, more controlled and that slows down better, I think a Mobula 6 frame and a Cockroach V3... a Mobula 6 camera canopy and a Cockroach V3 frame are an absolute go-to. Just do that, and then you'll have, like, kind of the in a way, you could really say the easiest to fly setup indoors, right? Because it's going to slide the least, it's going to slow down, it's going to go straight forward when you know what I mean? Like, and so, yeah, that's kind of cool. Maybe I'll you know, I'm probably going to do a live stream and try to clickbait that a little bit. The easiest to fly indoor tiny whoop kind of thing, you know what I mean? And then that's the build is, ooh, that's kind of interesting. The build is Mobula 6 2024 for the lightest weight AIO. Ooh, you know, that's actually an interesting build. It's Mob 6 2024 AIO, Runcam Nano 3, this canopy, because that's the lightest setup. Maybe this antenna, maybe a lighter weight antenna though. And then 702s, quad blades. Yeah, the HQ quad blades. That's kind of a cool build. Yeah. That's fun. Look at me. Figuring shit out. Yeah, this fly is great. This is ready to go to Castle Crash. Props are on here good. Everything looks clean. Nothing weird. No jank. All right. It's going over there. We get caught up on chat, and then we'll go to the next one. Maybe we'll fix this one that I obliterated yesterday. And then the 2 quads from yesterday will be ready to go. I'm going to put this, look at this. Look at this. I'm going to put this in a little case action. What case should I put this in? Hang on. What did I do with those cases? There they are. I don't really need the, so usually this 465mm case that I got from Custom FPV, he custom put the custom logo on the top and on the inside. Nope, this ain't the one. It's this one that I bought from Tiny Whoop that Custom did not customize, but I put custom stickers on it. Usually, this is where the little cinematic rigs live. The HD0 one that I never fly, the walk snail one, and then I think there's 2 analog rigs in here. I ain't gonna fly these. These are for chasing RC drift cars, so these don't have to go with me. There's really no reason to bring these. I guess maybe unless I bring the walk snail one. No, I'm not doing that. So yeah, this is the HD01. What props is this on? Hold on. What are these? Ah, those are the high pitch props. What motors is this on? Oh god, 28,500s. Oh shit. So it's on the pitchy props. It's on the HQ 31mm ultralight props. I think they are, I believe they are 1.2 by 1.1 by 3, but they don't call them that. They just call them 31mm props. This is the one that's on the Moon Travelers, which is super fun, and the Runcam Nano 3. This is the ultra lightweight RC drift car chasing setup. And then this is the this is the walk snail one here with the double stacked board on the 32,500s. It's great to fly. And then this is the other analog one. That's right, on the green props. Oh, and the other. Oh, this is where those other set of 36,000 kV motors went. That's right. This is the more thrusty little RC drift car chasing rig. When I want to do like try to do crazy shit like flip up over the car and whatnot, I use this little guy. Man, I'm so sad that we lost our RC drift car track. I miss chasing those guys, man. That was something I looked forward to every week, and it kind of like revitalized FPV for me a little bit, to be totally honest. Cool. One guy in here and ready to go. What are you doing, buddy? You're eating the alligator? We'll get some dog cam going. Man, it is a mess in here. I'm just like spreading shit out all over everywhere. Look at that beard. Look at that. Look how German this dog is. He just submits. Look at this beard. Look at it. You can tie this beard up in knots. Get that alligator. Get him. He's like, no. Grab it. Ah! What a little devil. Okay. We're getting off track. We've been off track. Okay, I'm gonna fix this. I'm gonna fix this little son of a bitch. You guys can spectate the dog for a minute because there's really nothing to see while I fix this. I'm just swapping on a different camera and canopy. I'm trying out the Brain the Brain CO3 camera. It's like infinitely lightweight, and it might kill this CO3 camera, but we're gonna find out. There you go. More dog action. Here, let's get him framed up a little bit better. Teddy, can you move down a little bit so you're not off the bottom of the... There we go. Look at him. He's even looking. He heard his name. There he is. Look at this goddamn dog. Look at him. What's he doing? What's he looking at? Oh, he's looking at me. It looks different through the monitor. All right, let me get caught up on chat too. Cole Power says, "Is there a reason you seldom use CiottiFPV?" I always forget about it, which is the worst because CiottiFPV, I believe it is .com, which is the worst because I was there for it being created. Oh nope, that ain't it. What were we searching for? The fox-ear toothless starlight? Fox-ear toothless starlight. Yeah, Joshua, David, Irick, and I were having weekly phone calls 2 years ago when Irick was creating this website. I was not working on this though. I was working on the FPV know-it-all text and product selections and all that jazz. So I didn't really have anything to do with this. I would kind of tune out when they would talk about this. But yeah, I was there for it, and it was super exciting. And like I used it. I had a tab opened with it, and then at some point when I lost that tab, I just never went back to the website, and I just forget about it for some reason. Look at this, dude. Oh my God, it's just out of stock everywhere. The lens is in stock, but wow, dude, this is ridiculous. Yeah, no, it's nowhere. That sucks. Yeah, that's a shame. Analog, what analog cameras are in stock? Anybody? I mean, that's such a loaded question right now. Like every time I go to any of these websites, nothing's in stock. And I'm just like, okay, I guess I'll wait longer. Are there, who knows of a good analog camera that's actually in stock? Anybody? Or you can just order it from Fox-ear. You can. Nope. YouTube did the thing and scrolled me to the bottom, and now I'm super backed up, it looks like. You can FPV says, I noticed a huge difference between CO3 and BI versus Baby Ratel 2. Yeah, the Tiny Whoop cameras are definitely not as good as the bigger cameras, but boy, is there a difference in weight. Can I help you? Teddy's, so when he like, dogs tend to like move their head instead of moving their eyeballs. But when he wants something, he's learned to leave his head down and look up like this, and then you can see the whites of his eyes, and he just looks like a, it just makes you want to die. Here's your toy. You put your toy on my lap, and now I'm giving it back to you. Here you go. You accidentally put it on my lap again. You can have it back. I thought for sure he would do it one more time. Teddy? You want to put the toy on my lap again? I'll definitely play with it this time. Okay. The moment has passed. We had our chance. We blew it. Nope, here he comes. Sometimes I think he knows what a camera is, and he actively avoids it. Gamehead Ariel says, "Yo, did you see the epic build pics from the Pickled Ultimate Basher 65? I think yes, I did. It's super cool, man. You guys are killing it." Cole Power says, "Starlight, Moonlight, Gazer, etc." Yeah. Pickle Rick outdid himself big time. I was blown away. Put him in general nonsense so everybody can see him. Oh, new mentions. What happened here? The Video Collective. Somebody tagged me in the Video Collective. It was off axis. Rip at Fraser Valley. Yeah, there's another FPV park starting up. Fraser Valley. I don't know where that is. My guess is it's in the Pacific Northwest. Which is, man, it's cool that people are making these FPV parks. That's amazing. There you go. In general nonsense, on my Discord, there's some pictures of it. Really, really cool stuff. It's got a fucking microphone on it, friends. Brian Kirk says, is this that really good for night? Foxy or Microcat 3, 1200 TV lines, 0.00001 lux, super low light night camera. Yeah, there's a bunch of night cameras that are exactly, well, there used to be a bunch of night cameras that are exactly that. They're that same 0.00001 lux. And they're all pretty much the same. You can't use them during the daytime, unfortunately. And they are pretty much black and white, but that's fine. Like at night, it doesn't matter if there's color. You just want to be able to see where the hell you're going. So yeah, that Microcat, that is all the way over here. That is super aggressive. The Starlight, the Foxy or Starlight stuff is in the middle, and then regular cameras are over here. So that is like a hardcore night camera. GameHat says, "All right, I DM'd you, and you mentioned the mic. Yeah, newborn dad brain is something. Yeah, for sure. I've heard. You can FPV. Christ, teenager brain is insane. You can FPV says, my Air 2 ducts are ovaling. Props still clearing, though. Yeah, that happens. Just, I just bend them back. Just bend them back round, and they keep going until they break. Although, I don't know. The Air 2, I've not seen a broken one yet. Gamehead says, last night was one of those days, broke whoop motor wires 4 times in 5 batteries. Super frustrating. Good lord. Kevin Sumner says, are you going to race a tiny whoop on the Backwoods Flight Line race course? Probably not. Me plus racing equals I'm frustrated and it's embarrassing because I'm so slow. If you guys really want me to, I guess I will, but I don't enjoy racing at all. You Can FPV says, I have to fix 2 of my whoops too, switch prop direction in Betaflight, and it didn't actually do it. Yeah, it's really nice when it works, but sometimes it doesn't, and then it's kind of annoying. But we used to not have it, and so, like, the fact that it sometimes works is kind of amazing, you know? If you think about it in that respect, it's kind of like, well, you know, it's better than not having it. Let's see. Let's get this canopy bolted up here. Are these screws all the same length? I think they are. Why do I only have 3? Where'd the 4th screw go? Is it in the carpet waiting to be jammed into my foot? Bag up, Teddy. No! Don't eat that. Stop it! Where's the 4th? There it is. Fooled you! Okay, so now we're gonna do... Oh, nope, it's stuck to the motor. Whenever a screw is missing, it's always stuck to the motor with tiny whoops. Am I right? Am I right? I'm right. Alright, so we're gonna put a... Actually, I'm gonna use this screw, because this one's a little bit shorter. And the rear screw on this thing, the Bri-Brain mounts only use the front 3 screw holes, and so the rear mounting point, you can put a shorter screw in because it doesn't have to go through a camera mount. All right, there we go. I'm gonna have a hard time holding this antenna down, aren't I? These Bri-Brain mounts are great, but they don't have any provisions for, like, camera mounting. Sometimes what I'll do is just put a glob of E6000 and then push the antenna into it. Works. All right. What's that? Oh, buddy. Why do you do this? Why do you rip the insides of these toys out and destroy the toys? What's going on there? Do you need to go see a doctor about that? Do you have anger issues? This noise you're making. He's really into this alligator's crotch. The crotch is usually where he figures out how to burrow a hole into these things and start ripping the innards out, which is just ultra creepy. Because, you know, they're just wolves, really. There's wolves that we force to live with us in the house. And then we go, oh yeah, you should be happy about that. And they're like, bro, I used to run around in the woods and murder shit. And now I stare at the wall all day while you're at work. But by all means, keep telling me that I should be happy. Thanks. Alright, getting some screws fired through this Bribrain canopy. So this build here is the Matrix AIO. And the Bribrain mounts up really nice with this Matrix AIO because this AIO does not have a camera plug all the way at the front, like the Newbie Drone AIOs and like the lighter weight Betaflight Air 4-in-1 and 5-in-1 AIOs. So this is actually kind of cool. I won't have I won't have issues with the camera rotating a little bit from that camera plug. But there is a UFL plug off on the side, but it totally clears. Yeah, that's completely fine. Yeah, dude, it's a shame that the Matrix AIO isn't more durable, because it would be a perfect candidate for these Bribrain mounts. These Bribrain mounts work really well on this. They also work really well on the 2G4 AIO, to be honest. Kind of perfect. So, there we go. Let's see what this thing weighs. The Bribrain canopy is very lightweight. It's more lightweight than the. It's lighter. There we go. Than the Betaflight banana hammock canopy. Cool. This thing's good. Just get these antennas kind of situated a little bit better here. That going over there. Cross this up. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to pass this. Well, let's weigh it first. So it is cool, 17.4 grams. So it went down by like 0.2 of a gram, I think, from what it was yesterday with the Betaflight G-string mount. Gamehat says, is the basement all dry and the fingies all the way healed? No, this finger is permanently fucked. I have damaged the nail matrix, which is the part of your finger that creates your fingernail. And so half of my fingernail is just not going to grow back, and I don't know how that's going to go. It still hurts like shit. I don't have a Band-Aid on it right now because I just want to let it breathe. But yeah, this will be a lifelong reminder to not ignore safety protocols that, you had in place for a very good reason. So that kind of sucks, but hey, it is what it is, I guess. I'm putting the antenna kind of under a little bit, and then it's going to sit off to the side there. A little sidewinder antenna. But it secures the antenna in a really nice kind of way. And then the ELRS antenna is just going to stick up kind of jauntily and jangly. The basement is dry, though, for the moment, but I'm not putting everything back together because I'm waiting for a huge rainstorm to make sure that the new gutters and the landscaping stuff does work. I don't want to put this all back together and then have it flood again and then have to rip it all apart again. So I'm just it's driving me insane. Like, being down here with this just shit everywhere is making me want to scream, but I'm just being patient because it'll really make me want to scream if I waste all the time putting it back together and taking it back apart again. So I'm weirdly wishing for a massive rainstorm. It's very strange. Let's fly this guy. You Can FPV says I have to. Oh no, we talked about that. We got that one. You Can FPV says what KV? Tell me more. Tag me again. GameHat says, where would you get a Runcam Nano 3? It was really hard to find them when we were getting parts for the Pub 65. Get FPV has them. I think they're called. It's for the Emax. It's for the one. You can just search Runcam Nano 3. Nanohawk, that's what it is. Sometimes if you search Emax Nanohawk camera, you'll find it. But yeah, there you go. It's unfortunately direct solder, but if you have one of the plug headers around, you can desolder it from the board and get a camera plug on it. Gold Power says you got a pretty box there. Psychedelic says, I had motor 3 stopped working on a 2G4, swapped motors, and 3 still wasn't working. Removed all motor plugs and direct soldered all. 3 still isn't working. Bad ESC. Yep. Is there a way to test? You just did. Yeah. 2G4 is durable, but it's not invincible. Whoop Fox says, talking builds, I'm going to get stuff for 2.5. You have any frames you like? Freestyle style frame. I don't know any 2.5 inch frames. The only one I know is the Quadmilla Jin, DJINN, but that's kind of specifically for 03 and 04. But if that's what you're doing, that's the build you're doing, there you go. Brian Kirk says, does the 65 Pro fit in that tiny Whoop Fleet box? Nope. But I just cram them in the 75mm box and just let them bounce around in there. Jay-Z says, do you know the name of the camera mount for your RC drift cars? Are they on Thingiverse? They're not on Thingiverse, but they're for sale in my Etsy store. I call them the Batwing. If you go to CiottiFPV.com and hit the Etsy link, you can buy yourself a Batwing mount. I have them for standard cameras, Runcam Nano 3, walk snail camera, and there's even an 04 version for the 04 light camera. Steady Eddie says, you can give us a cinematic fly-through of the race lines, and I'll put it on the big screen for people to watch between races. I can try. One of the things I'm not good at with racing is knowing where to go. So you'll probably be better off having somebody that actually races do that. But I'll give it a shot if you guys want me to, for sure. Every Day with Bruno says, my fur babies know when I have the camera on for sure. GameHat says, TFW, you arm the 5-inch and then you hear where the missing screw is in a motor screeching. Capital C says, the OmniFixo likes to steal screws. It does indeed. Bagzilla says, is that an 03 Cobra and a F40 above your head? Yep. It's actually an 2000 Cobra R. Arguably my favorite car of all time. I actually got to instructor drive one back in my autocross days. That was a very magical 60 seconds or so. And then, you know, I mean, the F40 is everybody from my generation's favorite. Buddy, you're making a mess with all the stuffing. I've actually not gotten to drive any Ferraris. I've gotten to Ferraris and Lambos. They don't really ever show up to autocrosses, and that's where I was an instructor forever. And so, yeah, I've driven tons of Porsches rather, but no Lambos, no Ferraris, which is fine. It's whatever. I have no, I just like driving a car once, like, I don't know, it's kind of cool, but like owning them is really like the thing, you know, like just driving a car once, it's like, oh wow, that was super cool. Never gonna get to fucking drive that again. It's, you know, Although, like the Halo cars, there's no chance of anybody owning them, so I guess getting to drive them once is a super big deal. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. The magic of a car to me comes with the relationship that you build with it after driving it for 10 hours, then 20 hours, then 50 hours, then 100 hours. That's the real magic, like really figuring out like the nuances of it. And I left these goggles on, and now they're gonna beep. And one flight session I get out of these Fat Shark batteries. One flight session. Absolutely ridiculous. And this is a somewhat fresh one. Ridiculous. Here we go. This build that we're about to fly is Air 65 V2 frame. 40,000 kV 0702 We Bleed motors. Betaflight Matrix AIO. Bri-Brain CO3 camera mount. CO3 camera. Shitty little lightweight antenna. And that's it. Old beat up battery. Away we go. Lot of duct in view. Oh yeah, low up tilt. This is a lower up tilt than what I was just flying, that's for sure. So we are now on a frame that has a very similar duct height to the light AF that we were just flying. But the Bri-Brain camera mount is a little bit more aerodynamic. So this thing is a little bit more slippery. Oh God, I just slammed that into the main beam of the house. So yeah, this is a little bit more slippery. I don't necessarily know if I can feel that. It feels very similar to what I just flew. The major difference here is... Why did I do that? Why didn't I just not fly into that side part of the gate there? That was awkward as hell. The other thing I'm getting used to, though, is the CO3 camera. The CO3 camera has a little bit wider of a field of view. Oh, that would have been so cool. That was so smooth. So yeah, this is like somewhere in between. This Bri-Brain camera mount is a little bit less aerodynamic than the Betaflight banana hammock mount, but not by much. Ooh boy. Low battery already. Oh, I just caught the edge of the shelf. That would have been fucking dope. Let's try it again. Nope, now I just full-blown hit the Stig helmet. White Stig helmet, that is. Whoa. Oh, I didn't need to disarm there. Yeah, I got buckets all over the place, man. This is the bucket with like a bunch of LEDs and random stuff that I'm bringing. This is the for sale bucket. I'm bringing lots of stuff that I'm selling. I'm trying to put prices on stuff up here. And then back here all over the ground is stuff that I need to fix. Same thing as last year. I'm not ready at all. This shit creeps up on it crept up on me, man. End of August. This year, the summer just fucking-peers. This guy is good to go. The only thing I can think of is maybe putting a better antenna on here, but it's already kind of heavy because of the matrix board, so I think I'm going to leave the shitty little antenna. Yeah, this thing's fine. In the box it goes. Where'd the box go? Here's the box. I didn't just Stevie Wonder that whole battery, did I? If I did, you didn't miss much. I wasn't flying all that great. There it is. 2. Number 2. Let's get caught up on chat a little bit more here. That battery's done. We got 4 batteries left. Oh. YouTube just did the thing again. There we go. GameHat says, that's rough about the fingernail, but if you're picking slips out of the hat labels, I chopped my fingers with a 5-inch, you're probably happy missing half a fingernail. Yeah, it could have been... I guess it could have been worse, but like it could have hit me in the face or something like that, right? But man, I wish that it had been like a quarter of an inch up this way or a quarter of an inch down this way, and then I would have been fine. It's kind of insane that it was exactly in this, like your nail matrix is small, like it's a little tiny target. It really sucks that it specifically hit that target, but you know, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. GameHat says, glad you can still fly. Yeah, very true. Very true. GameHat suggesting the Oasis Fly 25. Very cool. Thank you, dude. Cole Power says, I'm a racer and it takes me like 50 laps to remember a track. Nice. GameHat says, desktop USB-C, PD, power supply, silicone USB cable, USB-C to DC barrel adapter, unlimited power. I have a Toolkit RC, what is it? P200 adjustable power supply, which is just amazing. Such a nice little thing to have. Frank Nicholas actually sent it to me, which was super kind of him. GameHat says, you did not Stevie Wonder. We saw it. Awesome. Cole Power says, F it, 3D print a new fingernail. I am going to go, that actually reminds me, I am going to go to a dermatologist and have them actually look at it. I think it's worth whatever the money. It'll probably cost me $100 to have them do a consultation or whatever. And so, yeah, I need to, I found one, I went on my insurance's website, and I found a place, and I called them and left a voicemail. And they called me back and they said, why are you calling for fingernail problems? We're a proctology place. I was like, oh, great. Good thing I got the cheapest insurance so that when you click dermatologist on their website, it sends you to a fucking asshole doctor. See what I did there? Get it? Asshole doctor? Find a provider. Derma-fucking-tologist, you idiots. Dermatologist. Providers, yes. Dermatology, yes. Okay, cool. I just want to leave this opened as a reminder. Let me pull this tab all the way off to the right. Okay, cool. Bagzilla says, if you just showed up to a race whoop or any size quad race and you just fly the track, I know it will spark back up FPV in an awesome way. Wait, what? Oh, yeah, no, I've done it. I've early days of FPV, I thought racing would be what I would get into, and I did it for a little bit, and I didn't like it at all. And then I've revisited it. Like, whenever I go somewhere that there is a racetrack, I'll run the racetrack. And I just don't like it. It also goes against the style of flying that I've worked really hard to kind of develop, which is like not making any corrections, right? Like with racing, a lot of race pilots will like left right to get up to the gate. When the guys get really good, they stop doing that. But yeah, like with racing, you got to be willing to make corrections. And I've worked really hard over the last like probably 7-ish years to deprogram that and to not make corrections and just leave it and see where it goes. And then hopefully at the very last second I can bail. But I don't really want to get into create any sort of bad habits. There's a spider that just parachuted down from the ceiling. And now apparently he's floating. I don't know how this is happening, but And get him again. Oh, well, now he's on the monitor. Now he's in the chat. He's on the chat. So everybody put little pictures of spiders so that he feels reunited with his family. There's probably a spider emoji. You guys can spam the living shit out of it. And he'll get even more confused. Teddy, get this alligator out of here. Yeah, look, he just ripped... he made a butthole. There it is. Whoop, Fox got it. Okay, what's next? What's next? This is what's next. Hummingbird V4 with the Quad 6.6 canopy. I've been looking for an excuse to use the Quad 6.6 canopy, and this is a perfect one because it works beautifully with the little camera plug up front. So this Quad 6.6 canopy is a really good choice for the Hummingbird V4 or the Air AIO that has the plug up front. And so, yeah, I'm actually really excited to fly this. This is, if you look at the canopy, there's not much aerodynamic, you know, this is pretty slippery. And so I've paired it with the V4 frame. So the ducts are nice and tall, which is going to slow it down a little bit. So let's do a lava battery with this guy. So this is a Hummingbird V4. All this is a Hummingbird V4 with a different canopy, come to think of it. It's the same antenna, same frame that it comes with, same motors. Oh, different propellers. HQ 1.2 by 0.9 by 3 propellers. So this is a Hummingbird V4 with a canopy and a propeller swap, and that's it. Kind of cool that this is so stock of a build, and as you'll see in a second, flies really, really nice. You're back, buddy. Oh, this doesn't take this battery. This takes a different battery that I can't show you. That's right. Hopefully I'm holding this off screen. I am indeed. Oh, I don't think any of these batteries are charged, though. I think I ran this one down. Let's see. 3.6. Oh, wow. Look at all that. I'm going to have to trim this. I'm going to have to trim this guy. There's all this camera in view. But it doesn't matter because this battery's not charged anyway. How shall I do that? I could just do little... I could just, like, nip the corners of it. Yeah. No reason not to just do that. Hold on, let me hook the... Let me see if that did it. See if that got the job done. I just nipped a little tiny bit out of the corner. So this is the BI camera that the Hummingbird V4 comes with. And so I just cut a tiny little section out of the corner. And I just kind of eyeballed it. I could have probably done it with the camera on. That would have made more sense. And then just rip that off. Oh, no, I don't even have to rip it off. I can just come down here and cut it. Oh, yeah. Cool. That should be it. So the top left. I just did that to the top left. Let's see what it looks like. Ha! There we go. No more purple. Oh, there's a little tiny bit of purple here. So just up there. I just need to go like that. Yeah, look at that. Sweet. Well, there you go. If you run a BI camera in the Quad 6.6 mount, you just need to do a little tiny bit of clearancing. But that was incredibly easy. This is a really cool little mount. Very cool. I like it a lot. But I can't fly this. I think I did fly this, though. Well, I do need to... In order for this thing to be ready to go, I guess I need to Yeah, fix the camera mount. So let's go up here in the corner, and we'll just same kind of thing here. And then rip this off. Oh man, this is super easy to do. This is really cool. Brian Kirk says, does that battery that we shall not mention charge in a whoopster? It does indeed. Cole Power says, sometimes you choose the best line for time and speed, but you can absolutely choose the line that is most cinematic. Sometimes I like to choose the best line that frames a chase subject. That's pretty cool. You Can FPV says, Quad 6.6 canopy fits what cameras? All cameras that use the standard lens barrel, basically, which is 10 millimeters, I think. But like any camera that just has the regular lens that you see on most cameras. Bagzilla's out of here. Thanks for hanging. Game Hat says, you ever used a bike guy? If not, I'll send you one. I don't even know what a bike guy is. What's a bike guy? Cole Power says, racing with no clock is kind of silly. That's just learning the track. And if you can program your brain to see all the lines, including which line you're on, you can choose the best one. Yeah, that's why I thought I was going to have so much fun racing, because it was, in my motorsport days, it was really fun to figure out when and where to kind of min-max a corner. But, yeah, I don't know. I think the main thing is I just kind of got most, if not all, of the racing out of my system back in those days, and I've just kind of like moved on a little bit, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. It's looking like I'm going to revisit autocross a little bit with Patrick. He just bought a third generation Miata, and so that'll be super fun. We can go to drive his car, and I can do some instructing, which will be fun. It'll just be fun to get back out there. I still absolutely love motorsports. I absolutely love spending time in the sim. But yeah, it's just so goddamn expensive. Cool. This is almost there. Man, doing this with magnification is the move. Being able to see what the hell I'm doing, as always, is really nice. Let's see how good of a job I just did. Oh, yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. And I've got this camera pushed all the way into that mount. So on the left side, we've got just a little bit here on the left side bottom. And then the rest of it, I think, is totally clear. This is looking down at a white desk, and there's like nothing in the corners. So left side towards the bottom, I got to give a little niblet. And then it looks like we're good to go. Left side bottom. Chop the little tiniest bit extra off, and then we're all set. So left bottom, and I'm just going to go like this. That should be it. Yeah, cool. Oh, that's kind of ugly. It's not the most attractive. I could have done a better job, but who cares? I'll never notice it. And I think I just removed enough material that it's all set to go. Let me throw one of these secret batteries on the charger here, and I will fly this thing at some point. Is that on there? Yep, that's on there. It's charging. Cool. What's next? We've got a Hummingbird race that I actually don't think I'm gonna bring, because the Hummingbird race is going to be the build that I do the testing of the new Newbie drone battery and plug on. And so I don't want to break it. So I'm going to leave this home. And yeah, like either next Monday or next Wednesday, we're going to test. The release date for their new battery connector is this Friday, so I'll be at Castle Crash. So yeah, Monday night, if I have it in me, we'll do the testing. If not, Monday, Wednesday. And yeah, it's got A30 on it now, so I'm going to leave this alone, and we're going to run a bunch of the fresh Weebleed 300 BT 2.0 batteries on here, and then I'm going to switch the connector out, which is great because the connector on this has been going upwards. That's how they build it from the factory, and I don't like that. I like the connectors to go downwards, so it's kind of perfect. I'll pull this apart, send the connector downwards with the new connector, and then we'll see. We'll be able to compare head-to-head BT 2.0 versus, I want to say it's called NX69, I think. So yeah, that'll be fun, but this guy's getting left here. What's next? Cole Power says there's a tiny bit left side of the top edge. Left side of the top edge. Arr. Left side top edge. So that means I need to just go like this. Cool. That should take care of that. And then while I'm at it, it just looks so ugly because of what I did here. So I'm just going to go like that. And that's going to make it a lot less ugly. There we go. That looks better. Yeah. Ah, there we go. Now it's even almost symmetrical. Cool. What I've basically done is I've created a tulip style. In the photography world, we call them tulip style lens shades, and they look like a little flower. They've got little petals on the side and the top because your camera has more field of view diagonally. So this is really cool because it actually protects the camera lens, but it doesn't get in the way. So this is kind of like the maximum amount of protection that you can get without having the lens shade in the photography world, or in this case, the camera mount, get in the way. Know what I'm saying? Where did I get my loop? This is a 5X loop that I think my dad got me, or maybe gave me. These used to be all over Amazon, but last time I checked, they weren't. But yeah, search eBay for LOUPE. Let me see. Hold on. I'm doing it right now. 5X LOUPE. Yeah, there you go. This is exactly it. I think it literally is exactly it. Yeah, Bausch & Lomb. So this is the one. $15. One of these days, I want to get a 10X. The 5X is really good, and I really don't need a 10X, but it will be kind of fun to have it. But I've never been using the 5X and been like, man, do I need a 10X? It's just when I realized that they existed, I was like, oh, well, I need one. But yeah, the 5X is the most popular because it's just right. The problem with the 10X is going to be that the field of view that's in focus is going to be even smaller. And that's already a bit of a problem with the 5X. You got to hold shit really close to your face. And you got to like constantly remember that you move the distance in and out to adjust the focus. GameHat says, I can't remember who won the Pickled Whoop giveaway you did, but I need to let them on the Discord if they want support and perks and discounts. God, I don't remember either. Begzilla says, "Youth man, I'll catch you all later. Thanks for hanging." GameHat says, "Oh, Bike Guy cam mount. Is it on Thingiverse? If it's on Thingiverse, I'll just print one. Bike Guy camera mount. Now, those are all literal bike mounts. What do I have to search for to find it? If it's even on Thingiverse. Cold Power is mostly races online, so easy. Nice. Game Out says, have you ever driven or seen a monster Miata, one with a full-size truck or SUV engine that fits without modifying the body or engine compartment? So monster Miata refers to the old Ford 302 cubic inch 5-liter V8 swap that was the very first V8 swap ever done on Miatas. And this is also the Ford 5-liter engine, right? The 5.0, but the old 5.0, not the new 5.0. And so the old 5.0 is Ford's V8 from like the 70s, and it's a pushrod V8, single cam in the middle, push rods up, 2 valves per head, and that fits. It fits in a Miata. The problem with the 302 is it's a motor from the 70s. It's an engine from the 70s. So it famously does not make much power, as most V8s from the 70s and 80s, you know. That's the problem that they all had. They didn't have good airflow. The head design was shitty. They made buckets of torque, but you don't want torque in a Miata. You want horsepower. I've not driven a monster Miata, and I don't really care to, because they just... You can make more power with like a K20 swap, and it's a much better platform because it's less torque and more horsepower, so it doesn't try to twist the Miata chassis in half. Then Flying Miata designed a Chevy LS1 350 cubic inch, I believe they are, 5.8 liter engine swap setup, and those I have driven. And it's just wrong. Like it's funny, but it's way too much power. The Miata is a small car, and it's got small tubs for the tires to fit in. And so the widest tire that you can fit in a Miata without pulling the fenders is a 225. If you pull the fenders a little bit, you can put a 245 width tire in there. But it's not enough. It's the only way to have any sort of balance with that much power in that small and lightweight of a car is to cut the fenders and to run big ass fender flares. And now you can put like upwards of like a 275 width tire. But when you look at like the LS1s can easily make 300-400 horsepower. And even on big heavy cars, to put that power down, they have to go up to like a 295 or 315 width tire. And even with fender flares, you can't do that on Miata. So like even the most aggressive setup, it's still not balanced. It's still way too much power. And then the Miata is a very short wheelbase car, and so it rotates very quickly. So it's a really nasty combination. And it's like I said, it's funny, but it's not fun. Well, it's not fun for me. It's fun for people that just like to hammer the throttle and squiggle around and you know, run in a straight line and stuff like that. But for trying to go around corners, it's not fun. It's way too much, which is a shame because it's like kind of this generation's 427 Shelby 427 Cobra. But yeah, the 427 Cobra is a different animal, and you can put much more tire under that car, and it's heavier, and so it kind of makes more sense. But even that car is famously a death machine, mainly because of the short wheelbase. But yeah, the best Miata setups are between 150 and 250 horsepower, 4-cylinder NA or supercharged. Specifically like centrifugal supercharged, because they make power. They build power like a turbo. I don't like turbo Miatas because of the lag or boost threshold, as it should technically be called. And you just don't need that much power. A turbo Miata can easily make 300, 350, 400 horsepower. And again, it's imbalanced. It's too much. So yeah, the sweet spot is between 150 and 250, and there's no need for a V8 to do that. And you do have to modify, for the record, you do have to modify the engine compartment. There's areas that you have to cut out. It's not that bad, but you do. To fit any of these V8s, you have to, there is some massaging that needs to get done. And you have to swap the subframe out. Like it's a big job. And then you're left with something that's just a death trap. GameHat says, lots of frustrating attempts to fly lately. Really disappointed I couldn't get into a nearby quarry with the 5-inch after gearing up, breaking whoop wires, other issues. Yeah, FPV's like that sometimes, man. Should I push through until I fly a session or take a break? Either or. Either way, you're going to be all right. Starting to get fed up. Last time this happened, I finally had a successful flight. Next time reminding me it's worth it, but really rough streak lately. I don't know what to do. Yeah, it comes and goes. It really, you know, if you smash through it, it'll get better. If you take a break, it'll get better too. So, you know, either way. GameHead Arrow says, Bike Guy is closed source. Have to buy it from the creator, but I can send you some. I will buy it from him. I love supporting people that are doing cool stuff. How do I find it? GameHead Arrow says, ever driven 2008, 2012 RAV4 Sport V6? No. They dropped an unmodified Highlander V6 in those. They're stupid fast. I know of that engine now. I know of that Toyota V6. Mighty Car Mods is putting the 4-cylinder version of that into an old Toyota Hilux right now. I'm super excited to see it. You can have that V6, I believe, is also the one that Frankenstein Motorworks puts in MR2s, and Gears and Gasoline put it in their TURD, Toyota Unlimited Racing Design MR2. If you're into cars at all and you're not following Gears and Gasoline, turn this bullshit off and go over there now. It's one of the most fun channels on YouTube. Gears and Gasoline, Mighty Car Mods, Speed Academy, Jackie Ding, what's Chris? I forget what Chris Harris's channel is called. Oh, and Top Dead Center. Those are 5. Even if you're not into cars, those are 5 of the best channels on YouTube. Awesome content. Awesome stuff. You Can FPV says K20Z3 Miata would be so much fun. Yeah, it's like 11 grand. It's 11 grand to do a K20Z3 or A2 or K24 Z3 or A2. The Z3 swaps are $1,000 less. Because you don't have to swap out the subframe. And you only sacrifice, I think it's like 30, maybe 40 horsepower. So it is legitimately easier, but if you're already spending 11 or 12 grand, you kind of might as well spend the extra $1,000 for the subframe. And then you can still run the Z3, or you can get the A2, which you can put a really nasty header on and pick up a bunch of power. You Can FPV says twin scroll wouldn't lag much on something small. That is a pretty common kind of misconception. Twin scroll does help a little bit, but it doesn't help as much as you'd think. I had a couple when I was living in New Jersey, super into autocross. There were 2 Subaru guys that had GC8s, the boxy headlighted Imprezas, and they went crazy trying to get the lag, trying to reduce lag as much as possible, because it's a really big deal in autocross. And they both ended up going twin scroll, spending tons of time and effort and money on it, and they were both really disappointed at the difference that twin scroll made. And I drove both of their cars all throughout the course of their builds, and after years of development, there was still, and they weren't making big power. They were both making like 300 horsepower, and it was still there. Like, you put your foot down and like nothing would happen. Like, the only way to do it is, it's not necessarily about like the RPM that the power comes in. It's about just when you put your foot down, there just is delay. You know, there's just a big thing connected to the exhaust manifold, and you have to put air through that cycle. The only real way to do it is to have a really aggressive anti-lag setup, and that's really hard on turbos and really hard on everything. But yeah, twin scroll helps. It definitely helps bring the power in lower in the RPMs, but it's more about like the instant that you need power, you need a consistent amount of power. And that never happens with turbo. There's always gonna be a build, you know, whereas with NA and supercharged, like, you put your foot down, you get the exact same amount of power every single time. There's no waiting. It's just there and then it's gone. And yeah, for like balancing something on the edge of traction, that's super important. You can make turbo stuff work, and turbo stuff is typically faster because it makes more power per pound. But in terms of like driving enjoyment, I don't enjoy it as much. Gamehat says my wife has the Rav Sport V6. It does 0-60 in low sixes. My God, it's just a little SUV. Kelvin says PayPal sent for cams. Thank you. You're certainly welcome. What cams? Oh. Yeah, I already have them. I already have them set aside. Thank you, dude. Very cool. Yeah, I've got them set aside right here. They're all ready to go. All set. You can have says I hit full boost before 3,000 RPM. Yeah, twin scroll helps with that for sure. You got to be careful though. Making that much boost down low at that low of an RPM is really hard on the internals. That's a good way to bend rods and punch holes in blocks, because the way I think about it is that like at low RPM, the piston doesn't move up and down as fast. And so you're cramming all that boost, you're making all that torque, and there's this massive explosion, and then the piston doesn't get out of the way. So it has to like eat all that energy and all that power for longer. Whereas at higher RPM, the piston's moving up and down quicker, and so you can make a bunch of power and it just moves it out of the way quicker. It doesn't like sit in all that torque and all that power. One of the things they do when they make these like stock engines, you know, like all these turbo cars now, you can get them tuned and pick up like 100, 150 horsepower. One of the things they do is they limit the power down low. They don't make any more power down low. They just ramp it in really hard up top. So they kind of become dyno queens, but they do that for safety. And it's a cool way to get a whole bunch of power and not have to like go built bottom end. Kind of interesting. Kelvin says, Turbo Talk, hell yeah, diesels use VG turbos, variable geometry, to help with lag. So does Porsche. They did a lot of work with that. Why don't racers try that? Typically, reliability. You know, diesels run really low RPM. I actually didn't know that diesels did that. It makes sense, but they run really low RPM, and they're, you know, they don't deal with as much heat. Racers are in a situation where heat management is really, really difficult, especially when they're trying to keep the weight down and keep them as aerodynamic as possible. You can have, he says, I get what you're saying. Cole Power says, Game Hunter, my car does 0-60 in 6.5. GameHead says, you must love the feel of the flat torque curve of fast electric cars. Yeah, electric cars are cool in that respect, but man, are they not cool in any other respect. It's tough. It's electric cars are tough, man. They're tough to love. Unbelievable technological achievements, but they don't do it for me. I'm going to pull this battery off the charger so we can fly this rig real quick. It's not fully charged, so don't judge anything by this. But I just want to get this rig up in the air and make sure that the camera mount is okay. So this is a Hummingbird V4 with a Bri-Brain camera mount. I'm sorry, Quad 6.6 camera mount, rather. Link to this camera mount in the description of most of Quad 6.6's videos. Why did I put the goggles all the way back there? Yes, game hat. It will indeed. Which is really cool. It's amazing that they did that. Alright, so Quad 6.6 camera mount, first flight. Seems to be holding the camera pretty flat. It puts the camera really far forward, so there will never be any duct in view, which is really cool. I really like that about it. One of the things that is happening, though, and I'm actually going to unplug this for a split second here. One of the things that is happening is that it puts some stress on the front screw. And just because of the way that the camera mount sort of bends, and I just want to make sure that it's not pulling this screw out. I don't think it is, but I did run like a longer screw in the front here to make sure that didn't happen. Yeah, I think we're okay. Cool. Yeah, no, we're fine. Just me being paranoid. All right. Let's see how this is. Oh, I got smack all over the lens. Get this cleaned off here. This is a Hummingbird V4 with a propeller and canopy swap. Much better. Look at this official fucking shirt. Flies fine. Dog approves. Whoa! Let's check to make sure the camera's level. Pretty level. Woo! God, that looks cool. Let's do it in the other direction, so I can actually recover from it. Oh! I love it so much. God damn. This thing flies great. Okay, low up tilt. I didn't expect to start going backwards there. Oh boy. Wonder how it crashes. Ooh, ooh, hey. Hey. Let's try this. Oh god! This thing's got power. These, woo! In and out of that little cube there. These, Newbie Drone 30,000 KB 702s make really good power. This thing rips, bro! Hey, we saw the shadow right before he banged into the wall. Hummingbird V4, damn near stock. Teddy, Teddy! No! I'm literally running away from the dog right now. Still got a little bit of the mount in the view on the left there. Need to take care of that. This thing flies great. Yeah, I'm gonna come back from Castle Crash with all kinds of durability feedback for you. Oh no! What? Oh, I think it's hung up on the back part of the chair. So I need it to yaw now. It's just the chair kind of slopes down a little bit in the back, and it's just kind of like stuck. Brian Kirk says, "Can I get your PID tune for this bird?" I think it's stock. PID tuning, you don't use anyone else's PID tunes. Use either stock or just dial it in yourself. Using someone else's PID tune is going to leave you with a worse setup than the stock tune. And if you really want a locked-in setup, just grab the master multiplier, move it up a little bit, fly it, make sure it's not doing anything weird, move it up a little bit more, fly it, make sure it's not doing anything weird. Eventually, the quad will start sounding and acting weird. You've gone a little bit too far with the master multiplier, back it off a little bit, and now your tune is like 98% perfect and is way, way, way better than any tune that you would ever get from someone else and someone else's build. Even if it's the same build, tuning is very pilot specific. So running somebody else's tune is a really bad idea, in my opinion, and in my experience. I've done it before, and it's always just wrong, because it's a tune for a completely different build in completely different air density with a completely different pilot flying it. So yeah, there you go. Grab that master multiplier, move it up a little bit at a time. What I do is if the master multiplier is at 1.0, I move it up to 1.2. Fly it 1.4. Fly it 1.6. Fly it 1.8. Again, at some point it'll start acting and sounding funny. Back it off. Done. That is a really close to perfect tune. This thing flies great, and this camera mount is awesome. I really like it. I am a little bit concerned that this camera mount can kind of rotate left and right a little bit. I wish there was some sort of a provision to kind of keep that from happening. Maybe I need to run an even longer screw. Oh, the screw is kind of sideways in the front of this thing. What's happening there? Hold on. This is looking a little weird. Did I get that? I guess I didn't get that screw perfectly centered. What's happening here? Oh, it's bending. What in the world? It's bending the... What's that about? It's like bending the post. Why is that happening? Can I just bend it back? So like on the Newbie drone frames, you've got one single plastic post that goes straight down to the bottom. And this is, for some reason, the post is bent to the side. Oh, there we go. I bent it back. But the screw is still sideways. That's a little weird. I can't show you this because there's a connector on it that doesn't come out until Friday. So let me just super quickly take these screws off here. And I'm going to pull this screw and I'm going to add an even longer one to try to help with this odd issue that's going on here. Why did it go through sideways like that? Is this frame a little bit boogered up, or what's... Let's take a look at this frame. Is there something going on with this frame? No, it looks all right. Strange. Let me do this. Let me send this screw through without the mount, and I'll see if it wants to go in there sideways, or if it'll go straight down through there. Oh boy, dog's freaking out. So putting this screw in here. Oh yeah, the screw keeps wanting to go sideways. What the hell's that about? What are you doing? Why is that happening? What the shit? Why is it doing that? Oh, because it's punching through the flat piece of plastic. So I wonder if I just force it, if I just hold it like this, hold it sideways, and then drive it in, will it make a hole? And I think that fixed it. Oh my god, Teddy. Oh my god. What just happened? You are freaking all the way out. Ah, it's still trying to go through their side. What the hell is going on here? I might need to drill this out a little bit. In the cockroach frame, there's a post on the top and there's a post on the bottom, and in between them there's a flat sheet of plastic. For some reason, I think the first time I put this screw through, it was going sideways. It has driven a hole in the side of the plastic here that's not lined up with the posts on the top and the bottom. That's super weird. I can kind of see it down in here. It's pushing the plastic to the side. So what I need to do is just run a drill bit. Oh, you know what I can do? I can just run this screw down from the bottom. That'll fix it. Run the screw from the bottom, and that should push that plastic out of the way. Let's see. So let's flip this over and just get it started on the bottom here. Oh man, this screw looks like it's way big for this post too. Is this screw too thick? Is this like an M1.7 screw or something like that? How long is this guy? It's plenty. It's the right length. Oh fuck! Come on. I should probably just drill this out. Project Mockingbird's in house. He says, CiottiFPV in a polo, high class. Yeah. It's about class sometimes on this live stream. High class. It's hysterical. Yeah, this is a shirt that the on-air broadcast crew were wearing at the Tulsa Tough Criterium cycling race that I flew live broadcast for, and at the end of the event they had a bunch extra, I think, and because they were just like, yeah, you want one of these? I was like, okay. Free shirt? Sure. And it's just been kind of like sitting in the closet ever since. Okay, I think I might have fixed this, or I just made it way worse. Let's find out. I'm going to tighten it a little bit more, just so it bottoms out. Okay, now I think I fixed it, because it went through straight this time. So now let's back this out. Come on. Hey, yo! Don't fall off the desk. And then I'm going to take this mount. Where'd that come from? Oh, the arm. The side of the mount. Yeah, this Quad 6.6 mount, I would love if the bottom part of the mount here maybe had a couple little tabs that would sort of... Oh, I can do that, can't I? I can just chop this mount up to do exactly that. Okay, it's after 12 o'clock anyway. I'm gonna go all the way in modifying this mount to create little ears that go down and center this mount to prevent it from twisting side by side. If you get this Quad 6.6 mount, you'll see exactly what I mean. This is kind of cool. This is a neat way to, and an easy way to customize this. Yeah, sweet. Kelvin says, CiottiFPV has a job interview later at Wendy's. Frosty's for everyone. I love Wendy's, man. You Can FPV says you're going to come back with 3 broken whoops. I'm going to come back with way more than 3 broken whoops because I'm going with about 10 of the damn things probably. Cole Power says Hummingbird V4 flies great. Only downside is the runtime. Yeah, it's a little bit heavy. And the motors make tons of power. You Can FPV says just swapped my V4 to bi-blades and the B-Brain last night. Very cool. Cole Power says Tesla is far from the only option. Yeah, lots of electric cars nowadays. Boy, is the electric infrastructure not ready for it, though. Jesus. Cole Power says, I drove to LA and back on $0 in fuel, public commercial infrastructure. If you charge at home, start your every day with a fuel tank. A few cons unless you road trip. Yep. Game Hat says, is it a newbie drone gold-plated BT 2.0? Nope. Nope. It is a specific thing, and it's pretty cool. I will say that. It's pretty cool. All right, I think I'm caught up. Thanks for hanging, friends. CiottiFPV.com to support me. If you're on the $3 a month tier, you might as well jump up to the $5 a month tier because there's giveaways coming up. And it's only $2 extra. And if you win a giveaway, you'll win like $40, $50, $60 worth of stuff. Buy something on my Etsy store. Buy a t-shirt. Show your love. Tag me on Instagram. Do all the things. Love you guys. Be good. Here's some more drift car chasing. See you guys on Wednesday. We'll prep some more stuff for Castle Crash. Love you. Bye.
Bye.